Jamsin Entertainment.
Hey YouTube, new review for you in preparation for Batman v Superman. Just watched the Christopher Reeves Superman movie from 1978, and guess what? Still holds up. It's awesome, beautiful, and clever. Yeah, move down the alphabet again. Clever. Clever, first, spoiler alert. Of course, there shouldn't be a spoiler alert because the movie's been out for decades and you should have watched it by now.
Spoiler alert! You've been warned.
Yeah, you heard the voice. Spoiler alert, you've been warned. Okay, the movie's clever because it opens up setting up the second movie where he fights Zod. I can't think of another movie that does that. That's pretty awesome. Which allows me to compare between Superman the movie and Man of Steel. And yeah, I know fans don't like talking about it, but Superman Returns, unfortunately, did happen. So this is a review on Superman the movie, a comparison to Man of Steel, and yeah, I can compare it to Superman Returns. Just watch. Of course, it wouldn't be in comparison if I didn't also include Superman 2, where Superman fights Zod. Superman and Man of Steel start out similarly. How they're both on Krypton. Jor-El tells the council how the planet's going to explode at some point, and the trial of Zod, and how he's sent off into the Phantom Zone with his cronies, and how Superman, Kal-El, is sent to Earth in his space pod. But how they're done is very differently. The new ones, Man of Steel, they try to make it more modern, and I don't know, it seems too out there. Of course, comics can get pretty out there. This is the original Superman. Just it looks more real. Aside the fact that it actually has sets, it looks like a real planet, real people, real technology, not just something that someone thought up of. It looks like a real civilization. And then after that, the comparison of the two at that point stops where you see the spaceship heading towards Earth. Because Superman continues chronologically, and Man of Steel does he's grown up and then flashbacks progression. Both movies do a good portrayal of how it's difficult to be the outsider. I give a point to Man of Steel in this one because they go the route of, is the world ready for me? What are they going to do when they find out that aliens exist among us? Superman, they don't really do that. I mean, they talk about it and they keep his powers under wrap, but when Clark leaves and throws the crystal into the Arctic and the Fortress of Solitude is created, he learns from the computer version of his father, and then he becomes Superman. He goes to Daily Planet, and Lois is in trouble, and there's no balance there. Nothing. He's just like, oh, I gotta go save her. In Man of Steel, he's really struggled with it. He really has to. He asks a bunch of people, "Is the world ready for this?" And one person says, a priest says, you have to take a leap of faith. Right? A lot of play on words, a lot of symbolism, more so in Man of Steel. It's a little annoying, but hey, I didn't direct it. Which allows me to segue into my comparison to, yeah, I know, you don't like talking about it, Superman Returns. Now, how do I compare that? Superman Returns is a remake of the first film, Superman, the 1978 version. Little differences, but it's a remake. Bad remake. Now, Man of Steel is what Superman Returns should have been. Dark, xenophobic, and leave you questioning whether Superman's going to be accepted or not, because they leave you questioning at the end of Man of Steel. Like I said, Superman Returns, bad remake of the first one. I would have liked Superman Returns to be him coming back and the world being angry at him because he's been their savior this entire time and he just leaves. They should have been an angry people that he came back to, and he had to sort of regain their trust. Nope. Superman returns. He goes like, "Oh, Superman's back. Okay, cool." It's just, that's all I have really on Superman Returns. Bad remake of the first one. Superman. Man of Steel is what Superman Returns should have been. Now in Superman, Lex Luthor was the main villain, and I actually really liked Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. Yeah, he wasn't the corporate, I own most of the Metropolis Lex Luthor that we all know and love, but with what he was given, he did an awesome job. Which, sorry, another little bit of Superman Returns. Yeah, Kevin Spacey did a great job of what he was given, but I think Kevin Spacey knew what he had, and he just made it a comedic role. Gene Hackman, there's comedy there, but not so much as Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey, he took it as seriously as he wanted to, and which wasn't very seriously. Now, Superman Returns is where he fights Zod, and he fights Zod in Man of Steel. Kind of difficult to compare the two because I like both of them. They both do a great job of showing you how power hungry they are and how much and what they are willing to do to achieve that power. I I think the only thing I could say is that I like Man of Steel fight scenes better because they're modern. They're not going to be cartoony. They're not going to look like the comics. So Man of Steel gets another point there. Only because of the action. Other than that, Zods are even for me. In Superman and Man of Steel, he breaks one rule. In Superman, he goes against his father's demands of not interfering with human history, which is contradictory because sending him to Earth is changing human history. Man of Steel, he kills General Zod. Now, for some reason, people are up in arms about that because, Superman doesn't kill. Well, he killed Zod in the second film. Why are you up in arms about this new film 40 years later? I don't know. You can take a look at this new Death of Zod as him making it a rule never to kill again. Because this one was so agonizing. He had to kill his own kind, making him the last Kryptonian. Well, as far as we know. I'd love to see Brainiac. Even though he's not really flesh and blood. Getting off topic a little bit. But I hear some people complain that they don't focus too much on that. I think in the small moment that they focus on is brilliant. And it pulls at my heart a little bit. You can physically see on his face the realization of what he just did, and it's tearing him up inside. And he gets consoled a little bit by Lois Lane. And yeah, it does cut to another action scene, but you don't know in the next movie, Batman v Superman, if they're gonna act on that, because within the trailer they show the dead body of Zod, and then they show Doomsday, who can only be a bad clone of Zod, which we're getting into the next part a little early, so I'll stop there, because that's the gripes, which I mentioned a few videos back. I'll get to the gripes after the next part. Now the comparison of Superman. Superman versus Man of Steel. I think they're both awesome. I think both of them were torn right out of the comic book. Christopher Reeves looks like the comic book version of the time, late 70s. Henry Cavill looks like the Superman of today. So I love both of them. They both portray Superman very well. Both act very well. The only thing we haven't seen Henry Cavill do, just a little bit though, is see him play Clark Kent at the Daily Planet. Now here, as of right now, Christopher Reeves has points because he really does an awesome job of showing you Clark Kent, who's slumped over, shy, fixes his glasses, he stutters, he's not sure of himself, no confidence, and then you see Superman. You see it after an interview with Lois Lane. You see Clark Kent on for a date for Lois Lane. You see him go from Clark Kent stands up to Superman, removes the glasses. He's about to tell her, and he's just Christopher Reeves did an amazing job of showing a comparison between Clark Kent and Superman. And everyone says, how can't you tell? It's only glasses and a curl. What's one gripe about Henry Cavill? No curl, but I can live without the curl. You see the transformation, and you can guess why people can't tell that he's Superman, because he physically acts different. He talks differently. He voices his Clark Kent voice is a little higher than Superman. Superman and Clark Kent, not quite like that, but still, great job. I'd like to see what Henry Cavill does. I hope he just doesn't be Superman. From the trailers, it might be that way, but I don't know yet. Alright, on to the best part, the gripes of Batman v Superman. Starting out, when I heard Ben Affleck, I had the same reaction that millions of fans had. No! And I griped about it, and people started to get a little annoyed that I was griping about it. And I figured, with all the backlash, they would change the casting. They didn't. And I'm actually, surprisingly, glad they didn't, because in the trailers, it looks like Ben Affleck's going to pull off Batman pretty well. We'll see. Gripe number 2, Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. Really? I mean, Jesse Eisenberg plays Jesse Eisenberg in every film I've seen him in. Granted, it hasn't been a whole lot of films I've seen him in, but similar role across the board. I would have loved to see Bryan Cranston as Lex Luthor, because he basically played him already in Breaking Bad. Just take off the goatee and you got Lex Luthor. And the final gripe is their bad marketing. The second trailer shows General Zod's dead body, and then shortly afterwards it shows their rendition of Doomsday. It's just, really? You're gonna give the... I mean, save that for the movie. That's why I'm kind of on the fence about it. I started to watch one Jesse Eisenberg review to see if he's going to be good, but it's just, I got a little too much information, so I stopped it. The only review I've really seen so far, because of the pre-screening, is that people are surprised that it's good. It was question mark, exclamation, question mark. So, I do have high hopes for this, because I love Batman, Superman's cool, we'll see. It's Friday. So tell me in the comments below, which is your favorite, Superman or Man of Steel? Superman 2 or Man of Steel 2? There's a lot to compare there. And if you want, Trash or Superman Returns, because it's fun. Tune in next time for a review and comparison on Batman versus The Dark Knight. More prep work for Batman v Superman. As always, if you like what you saw, like it. If you think other people will like it, share it. If you really liked it, hit the subscribe button.
Live your imagination.